Many thanks for staying with us. We will continue our conversation on food this morning, taking it from where the first segment started. But we'll be talking about something a bit different, and which is aquaculture farming. We're talking to Sejiro Oketojunu, who is the president, Lagos State Catfish and Allied Farmers Association. He's also an aquaculture farmer. He has quite an intimidating profile concerning this sector as we discussed strengthening aquaculture farming in Lagos. You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having me.
Okay, I'd like you to, break it down, like you're talking to a 5-year-old, you're trying to explain to a 5-year-old what aquaculture farming entails. What is it all about? And again, why is it becoming very popular in Lagos today?
All right. If I'm going to break it down for a 5-year-old to understand, aquaculture is a combination of two words.
Okay.
Aqua, that is water. Then culture is farming. So it's simply farming in water. So if you're saying farming in water, every living thing that can survive in water is all we farm in water. So that's a simple definition for aquaculture, a way of life in water.
When you say every living thing, every living thing in water, does that include planting? Does that include, food we plant inside?
Plant and animal. Plant and animal.
But
I'm not talking about the non-living resources. We have living and non-living resources, but for our focus, we'll just be looking at the living resources, which is plant and animal.
Okay. I have your profile with me, and it just depicts so much passion and love for what you do. MD Sedge Farms Consults Limited, proprietor of Aquaculture Innovation Incubation and Development Center, President, Lagos State Catfish and Allied Farmers, recipient of several awards and recognitions in this sector, one of the drivers of the blue economy, and of course a facilitator who has trained over 5,000 youths and interns over the past 20 years. Wow. What motivated you, to go into this business?
Yeah, passion, number one, and I think I started very young and I had to go professional. But skills is not enough. So skills and passion is what has brought me here, and trying to make impact and trying to carve a niche for myself. And I'm an advocate for food security. So I think all of those combined made me a professional, and I'm doing this, I'm practicing what I'm preaching. So.
Okay, from your experience so far, because you've been in this business for over 20 years, what exactly is the current state of aquaculture in Lagos State as at today? And of course, I'd like you to talk about the opportunities and of course the limitations.
Yeah, interestingly, if any nation or let me put it that way, it's going to be talking about aquaculture, it should be Lagos, because Lagos has all it takes in terms of aquatic resources. We have a very long stretch of coastline. We have all kinds of water bodies, brackish, fresh, and marine, that is suitable for aquaculture. We have the population that is good for market. We have a youthful population that is good for as the labor force. We have the different indigenous species, and so we have all it takes. The location is perfect. So Lagos, for one, is a state that should be the fore in terms of aquaculture globally. So aquaculture is a subsector of fisheries, and fisheries is a broader definition that covers both living and non-living resources in the fisheries industry. And we have artisanal, we have industrial, and we have aquaculture. So we have three subsectors under fisheries. But for today's discussion, I think our focus is just going to be on aquaculture. And why aquaculture in Lagos? I think because we have water, what Lagos has in terms of aquatic resources, like I said earlier, some nations of the world don't have it. So, and that's why we should thrive and see how best we can match up with other countries in the world doing so well in aquaculture.
Okay, you just said that Lagos, has so much water, to enhance or to grow this aquaculture farming. So why is Nigeria still importing a large portion of the fish it consumes?
Yeah, that's simply because we've not tapped into the potentials yet as a nation. What we have is enough for us to replace oil. Unfortunately, we are not seeing the latent opportunities and the obvious potentials in the fisheries subsector yet. That's why we should be importing. We are still importing. We shouldn't have any business importing in the first instance. I think all hands need to be on deck. For instance, if you're looking at technological development or genetic improvement, world over, we have over 500 species of aquatic life that have been domesticated.
Wow.
And here we still have just about 2 or 3 that we are working with catfish, tilapia, and maybe a few other species. That means we've not done enough in the area of research. We need to break new grounds. We need to see how we make aquaculture more robust than it is now. So by diversifying into other species, we have a lot of pond systems that are suitable for our environment. We have a favorable climatic condition as a nation in the tropics. That means all year round we can do our business successfully we don't have natural disasters like other nations have. We don't have extremes of both temperature, cold or hot. So that means Nigeria is an ideal environment to culture. So, but because we've not really explored, we've not really done what we should do in terms of technology and collaboration within the stakeholders. There are a lot of stakeholders involved in the aquaculture sector. So I think there's need for stakeholders engagement, there's need for collaboration between governmental and non-governmental institutions so we can bring out the potentials and make aquaculture more robust than it is at the moment.
Of course, that would now lead me to the question now that, so what needs to be done in order to tap more into technology? Because for people like me who are laymen, I still do not understand the difference between aquaculture farming and seeing the fisherman throwing his net into the sea to catch fish.
All right, so simply the difference is simple. Fish farming is different from fishing. Do you understand? Fishing is the act of going to capture, wild capture. That's going to get what is in nature. It's like hunting.
Okay.
But farming now is cultivating, culturing. Do you understand? A simple definition so it can be easy to understand. So now what we have in the wild is not enough. The wild stocks are beginning to deplete. Fishers go to the sea, go to the creeks, go to the rivers, and the wild catches are beginning to dwindle. They go, and at times they are not even getting anything. That calls for urgency. That means there's need for a backup plan, and the backup plan is to culture. Is to develop what we have, so all of these things won't go into extinction. And that wouldn't have been a challenge really if all of the fisheries regulations are in place. But unfortunately, those regulations are there, but are not fully implemented. But as it is at the moment, we need to bridge that gap, and the gap has to be bridged through aquaculture. And so many areas that we need to consider to step up our aquaculture value chain or business is we need to look at the area of what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So what do we want to produce? We are looking at fish. How do we want to produce? Yes, we are doing our bit. Is it enough? It's not enough. For whom to produce? That's the market. Have we done enough in the area of market? No, we've not done enough. Aquaculture has a value chain that the marketing end is the most profiting. But a lot of people, a lot of investors are not giving attention to that. Like I said, the marketing end of every value chain is the most profiting and the most important, because once that is taken care of, it's going to drive production down the line. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if people produce and they can't sell, there's a problem. Then there's artificial glut. Now there's need for us to do more in the area of product development and market development. Product development, when we're talking about product development, that means we'll be looking at various forms, value addition. You understand how well can this food be provided? How can it get to the table of consumers? How can
it meet the growing fish? How can you meet the growing fish demand?
Exactly. In different form. In different form. You understand? So if you're not eating the fish in the form of pepper soup, you should eat it in your pastries. Do you understand? You should eat it in your burger. You should eat it as fish fingers. You should eat it as snacks. Do you understand? You should use it as a product in other, what's it called? Products. You can combine with other products. So make it available and make it affordable. Do you understand? And that is going to improve the health of Nigerians. But we are not saying that. Then when we talk about market development too, I say something that the fish is popular but not famous. Do you understand? It's famous but not popular.
It's famous but not popular.
But not popular. Do you understand? If you ask Nigerians how many of them can afford fresh fish, how many of them have eaten fresh fish? And let me tell you something, it's even cheaper than most of the imported species that we have around. That's the unfortunate thing. It's cheaper than other competitive protein products on the market. Do you understand? And it's healthier. It's healthier because it's fresh from our waters and it's fresh from our ponds. So if you're looking at the market development, there are things we need to do at the marketing end to avoid post-harvest challenges. And post-harvest challenges can come in different ways. The challenges can be turned to opportunities.
So we're not going into storage, right?
Yes, storage preservation.
Preservations,
Do you understand? Yeah. So if our fish are well stored, are well kept, it's going to have a longer shelf life. Then logistics is going to be easy. There's not going to be post-harvest losses. There won't be spoilage like most of our fishers have and most of our farmers have. When our farmers produce and there is little demand, the whole thing needs a holistic approach. Do you understand? The government will need to come in with some sort of policies that will help farmers produce more and remain in business. But what we've been saying is farmers produce and they get frustrated because of poor purchases or poor patronage, because of the question of the challenge of affordability, the challenge of power for storage. For instance, in Lagos now, we do frozen catfish at our association. The Lagos State government has been doing so well, but more needs to be done. I don't think any state in the country is performing better than what the Commissioner for Agric in Lagos State is doing. in terms of agricultural development, but still, much still needs to be done. I'm not, I'm interested in exporting to get foreign exchange of our
Exchange, yes.
produce.
Yeah.
But but the Nigerians still need good food. Every good thing should not just go out of the country. But the thing there is, let's do enough that our people can afford. And it's not rocket science if you're looking at affordability. It is seeing how we can reduce the cost of production.
Okay.
How are we going to reduce the cost of production? It is by having alternative feeds and lowering the cost of fish feed.
I'm
Fish feed takes about
I'm glad you mentioned fish feeds now, because fish feeds has been cited as a major challenge when it comes to cost. So how are farmers now dealing with the cost, the high cost of fish feed?
I think every farmer in Lagos first needs to be celebrated. Every farmer that is still in business at the moment.
All these feeds I heard are, usually imported. Isn't there like an alternative to locally made fish feeds?
I'm going to shed a little light on that. That's why I said, for instance, all of this thing, getting it done is not rocket science. We have all it takes to produce our own feed in this country, but little attention is given to crop production. Livestock production is a ready market for crop production. All of the grains that are needed, we can produce it in this country.
Okay.
All of the protein sources that are needed in feed formulation can be produced in this country.
So why
but unfortunately, that's what I'm saying. We are not giving the right attention yet to agriculture. Agriculture needs to be redefined. Some sort. Policies are supposed to be in place to encourage more people to go into production of crops and livestock. And we have favorable climatic conditions. We have the best soil land that can do all of this. Unfortunately, we are not doing it. And our institutions too are not helping. You have our institutions turning out graduates every year, and you have less than 10% of the graduates from agriculture practicing agriculture. Don't you see there is a problem somewhere? And so that means there's a problem somewhere. And a lot of young people are not interested because it's not profiting as it should. That's why they want to keep their certificate and look for opportunities in other endeavors, because it's not profiting. And how is it going to be profiting if the farmers are not breaking even? If the farmers cannot have easy access to funds, to loans?
Yes.
If the farmers cannot, it's easy for people to bring in things into this country, but it's frustrating for us to take things out of this country to earn foreign exchange. And these are things that are going to increase our profitability. It's difficult. So if even the regulatory agencies are not helping, if I want to get my farm certified or my product certified for exports, for instance, I have to go through several bottlenecks with the regulatory agencies. Is it difficult to have a one-stop desk to get all of your paperwork done? Do you understand? Electricity is one challenge that it's government business to take care of that for us. These are things that increases the cost of production. And once the cost of production increases, the cost of the product is going to increase. And once that increases too, then it's going to reduce the purchasing power. And currently, we know what we are facing in this country. The purchasing power has really gone down.
Okay.
Do you get it?
So, earlier, you talked about the Lagos state government and, its support for farmers. What exactly, or how has the Lagos state government, supported, this aquaculture farming?
All right, so that's, I'll tell you without mentioning words, the Lagos state government has been doing so well. For instance, there was this project called the Appeals Project. It was a World Bank funded
project, yes.
Yeah, with the support of the Lagos state government, which really helped the farmers, poultry, aquaculture, I think, rise to do more. And it came at a time post-COVID where a lot of people were leaving the business, and they came with a lot of support in the area of seeds, and the area of feeds, in the area of what's it called, facilities, in the area of technology, which really brought a lot. In fact, it was the Appeals project that brought about tilapia development improvement, the cage culture system we are talking about. It was that Appeals project. And currently, I think just a few months ago, I think about 2 months ago, there's this project called the OJECO.
Yes.
OJECO, facilitated by the Lagos State Ministry of Agri as well, to support farmers with subsidized feed, a 25% subsidy on fish feed, which was really a big one. It was really a big deal for the farmers. It was good, but it wasn't enough. Do you understand? And these are things that we feel should come in more in the area of empowerment, because some of the empowerment programs we've seen are benefited by those that are not even practicing. It has a lot of political undertone. But this time around, the OJECO went directly to those that really needs it. It wasn't enough, but it was a good one. Now they have the farmers hub, food hub around too, which we need to have more. The central marketplace where farmers can take their stuff to, and people can buy at a cheaper rate. So there are a lot of ideas, there are a lot of policies that the government can do. Lagos State government is trying her best. They can do much more in the area of buyback policy too. The farmers can produce, then they shouldn't have the challenge of who to buy from them or the spoilage. Do you understand? Once there is a central place that all of these things can be bought. But I can tell you for free that Lagos State government is working on a food hub, logistic hub, that will be mopping up what farmers produce. So it's going to be like a food trade zone where every goods produced on the farms, you can go there. So from there, you can even go for export, and every other person can pick up from them. That's why I think Lagos State government is trying her best, but more can still be done. And mind you, food insecurity should be everybody's concern. Should be everybody's worry. Do you understand? So if everything fails, food business should not fail. It's not going to fail. So that's why I'm saying that there should be more support for the government, from the government for the farmers, to the farmers. And I think nationally too, I think the federal government needs to pay attention to that. There's a Ministry of Marine, Blue Economy. Blue Economy now. But I can say it's not blue yet because we are not feeling the impact as farmers in Lagos State in national.
It's still white.
It's still white. It's still white. So we just need the government to pay attention to farmers, so we can have more farmers. For instance, what Lagos State government do again is that they really strengthen their association. There's last CAFA, and that's the Lagos State Catfish and Allied Farmers Association. And if you go to the Ministry of Agri, if the Ministry of Agri wants to do anything, they do it through the association. So every farmer should belong to an association, so that when there are incentives, when there are information, when there are technology, it's going to be easily disseminated through the association for better coordination.
So we must commend the Lagos State government for the support. Just before we go, what's your final word, on the role of aquaculture, can play in Lagos economic development and food sovereignty? I don't want to ask two questions at the same time. And, what is your projection of aquaculture in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, currently aquaculture is still at its infancy, like I said earlier on. We need to move up to get to what is being obtainable in other climes, because we have a better advantage than them. So that means we need to look at the areas of vacuum to fill those vacuum. Then secondly, too, we need to bring all the relevant stakeholders together in terms of the research institutes, the governmental and non-governmental agencies, and the farmers. I think everybody needs to work in collaboration. Do you understand? And the extension agents too need to be more present. They need to be well taken care of. Our extension agents are not well taken care of, so they need to be well taken care of. Then there is this popular saying in Yoruba that if you've not been to somebody else's father's farm, you think your father's
farm is the biggest.
So I think our government who needs to move out, let them attend international conferences, let them go and see what's obtainable in other climes, and they bring it and copy home. Do you understand?
Yeah.
They say photocopy is not easy, but there are some things that needs to be copied in terms of technology. Do you get it? So I think if we work collaboratively, then we can achieve. Then on a final note, I think farmers should be given special or preferential citizenry treatment. Do you get it? So that farmers, people can be encouraged to do more. Every household must produce a farmer in Lagos State to meet up with.
Because we have all the water now. We don't have any excuse. We don't have any excuse.
And we have the population.
And we have the population, especially the youth. Especially the youth.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially. Thank you very much. Exactly. Thank you very much, Sejiro.
I'm sorry to wrap up. There's something that the Lagos State government is doing too.
Go ahead.
With the youth. They have a youth incubation club that comprises of farmers. These are some of the strategies by the commissioner, the Ministry of Agric, and the commissioner and her team. Do you understand? To encourage more youths to make our agriculture more attractive and sexy, like she would say. So I think we just need to do more, encourage more people to go into aquaculture. So if everybody is paying 10,000 naira for school fees, a farmer's child or a farmer should pay 5,000 naira.
5,000 naira.
Do you get that?
Because you even provide food for everyone. Thank you very much, Sejiro Oketojino. Is the president, Lagos State Catfish and Allied Farmers Association, also an aquaculture farmer and one of the drivers of the blue economy. We've been talking about strengthening agricultural farming here in Lagos, and he has shared such insightful and practical wisdom. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
We'll go on a short break.